Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, has cleared former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi to contest its primary presidential election ahead of the 2027 general election following a screening exercise conducted in Abuja. Party officials say the members of the screening committee examined Obi's credentials and questioned him extensively on his vision for Nigeria before approving his participation in the race. Obi commended the process as credible and transparent, while the party says the primary is part of preparations for the 2027 elections. Now, in a major twist ahead of the 2027 general election, the Turaki-led faction of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has adopted former President Goodluck Jonathan as its presidential candidate. Political correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
The development follows consultations and strategic meetings in Abuja for the faction, reaffirming Jonathan's place in the party and saying the party has given waiver to Jonathan to contest as the sole presidential candidate of the party for the 2027 election. PDP chieftain and former presidential aide Umar Sani claims Jonathan has already purchased his nomination form and is strongly positioned for a return to active politics, citing growing support and public nostalgia for his leadership.
The party had given him waiver to come and start following.
Jonathan served as Nigeria's president from 2010 to 2015 before losing re-election to former President Muhammadu Buhari, and has remained active in regional diplomacy and peace efforts across Africa. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
The federal government has commenced the disbursement of outstanding 2025 allowance to Nigerian students studying abroad under the Bilateral Education Agreement Scholarship Program. The Ministry of Education says the Central Bank of Nigeria has successfully transferred approved funds to Nigerian embassies and missions for immediate payment to eligible scholars, with authorities confirming that about 4 billion naira remains outstanding after an earlier disbursement of a similar amount. Government officials say the move reflects President Bola Tinubu's commitment to student welfare, education support, and human capital development. Meanwhile, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting institutions and organizations driving growth in Nigeria's media and cultural sector. The assurance came during the unveiling of the roadmap to the Golden Jubilee celebration of Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union in Abuja. Sadia Yakubu reports.
Minister of Information and National Orientation Muhammad Idris described the Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union as a strategic partner in nation building and a key institution in Nigeria's media and creative industry. The minister stressed that freedom of expression and press freedom remains critical to democratic governance, but noted that such freedoms must be exercised responsibly in the interest of national unity and peaceful coexistence.
A media literate society is a stronger society. An informed citizenry is the foundation of democracy, and the responsible media ecosystem is essential for national development. This is why the federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, remains committed to supporting initiatives that strengthen media literacy, promote ethical journalism, and empower media and creative professionals.
He further stated that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recognizes media and cultural workers as vital partners under the Renewed Hope agenda and remains committed to creating an enabling environment for them to thrive. The minister also highlighted the importance of the International Media and Information Literacy Institute, describing it as a forward-looking platform for promoting ethical communication, digital awareness and media literacy. He therefore called for stronger collaboration among government agencies, labor unions, media professionals and stakeholders in the creative industry to safeguard responsible communication and protect constitutional rights. Responding, President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, congratulated Ratau leadership and commended its resilience through challenging periods. Ajaero, however, criticized what he described as increasing interference in labour activities and attempts to disrupt union conferences. He also urged Ratau to expand its membership by unionizing workers in private radio and television stations across the country.
Today, we gathered to unveil a roadmap to Ratau under the care by Ratau yet.
The high point of the event was the unveiling of the roadmap for Ratau's Golden Jubilee celebration, marking 50 years of advocacy and contributions to the growth of Nigerians' media, arts and entertainment sectors. Sadia Akubu, Global TV News.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed commitment of the President Bola Tinubu's administration in opening up satellite communities in Abuja through massive road infrastructure development. The FCT minister made this known during an inspection of ongoing projects across Abuja. Kabir Hassan would bring that detail in a subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has delivered a major blow to transnational organized crime with the dismantling of a Nigerian-Mexican methamphetamine syndicate. In addition, the agency has recovered illicit drug and precursor chemicals valued at more than 480 billion naira. The NDLEA chairman and chief executive officer, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Abuja. Kikelamo Okere reports.
The operation, described as one of the biggest anti-narcotic breakthrough in Nigeria's history, followed months of intelligence gathering and coordinated tactical raids across Ogun and Lagos State. Briefing journalists in Abuja, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, says operative of the agency's Special Operations Unit stormed a massive clandestine methamphetamine laboratory concealed deep inside Abidagba Forest in Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State. 7 suspects were arrested at the illegal facility, including 3 Mexican nationals alleged recruited to manufacture methamphetamine alongside 4 Nigerian collaborators. Investigators says the discovery confirmed the growing involvement of foreign criminal networks in Nigerian illicit drugs trade.
Notably, the operation confirmed our intelligence regarding the importation of foreign nationals and foreign technical expertise by local cartels. Among those arrested were 3 Mexican nationals brought into the country specifically to cook this deadly substance, and 4 Nigerian collaborators.
In a simultaneous operation, NDLEA chairman says another tactical team raided the Lekki residence of alleged cartel kingpin identified as Anochili Innocent, where he was arrested. Security operatives recovered international passports and mobile phone belonging to Mexican suspects, directly linking the alleged drug baron to the foreign syndicate. Follow-up operations also led to the arrest of 2 additional suspects connected to cartel distribution and starch network in Lagos. The agency says more than 2.4 tons of methamphetamine, precursor chemicals, and industrial solvents were recovered during the operation, with an estimated international street value of over $362 million. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer NDLEA says Nigeria has become a hostile environment for drug cartel and transnational criminal networks.
Total number of members of the cartel now in our custody to 10, including the baron and the 3 Mexicans, sends an unequivocal, resounding message to the drug barons, both locally and internationally, that Nigeria is a hostile territory for your business.
The latest crackdown comes weeks after the agency dismantled another international drug trafficking network, reinforcing intensified efforts to combat organized crime and protect communities across the country. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
Now, millions of girls in northern Nigeria are still being denied access to education as poverty, insecurity, child marriage, and cultural barriers continue to push them out of classrooms. United Nations Children's Fund says the situation remains one of the biggest threats to the future of children in the region. Zara Unasir reports.
Educating a young child is one of the most powerful investments a society can make. It breaks generational cycles of poverty, boosts economic growth, reduces child marriage, and drastically improves overall family health.
Across many communities in northern Nigeria, the dream of education remains out of reach for thousands of young girls forced into street trading and domestic labor instead of classrooms. For Khadija, a teenage groundnut hawker, school has never been a part of her childhood experience. She says her parents never enrolled her in school, leaving her without basic education or opportunities available to many children her age.
To me yasa baka zuwa? Na? Me yasa baka zuwa to yanzu? Ba sa ne ba.
UNICEF says girl child education remains a critical tool for reducing poverty, ending child marriage, and improving economic development. But insecurity and harmful social norms continue to block progress in many northern communities. Some residents blame the crisis on forced sensitization, especially in rural areas where many parents still lack awareness about the importance of educating the girl child. Others say rising poverty has forced many families to withdraw their daughters from school, calling on government at all levels to provide free and accessible education.
To now, our imams and our sheikhs are not still telling us or channeling us to the right direction, and that is why you still have these girls. You see them in the evening or in the morning. They will package them. They will give them heavy makeups and give them things to the market instead of going to school.
There's lack of finance, because most of the girls in the north, they are from a polygamous family, of which the father married like maybe 4 wives and they have so many children, so they cannot train all of them.
Policy expert Professor Ibrahim Abubakar says changing societal attitudes through aggressive sensitization remains key to addressing resistance to Western education in parts of northern Nigeria.
There is also a need to also adequately sensitize the parents and also those who are the ones that have actually aggravated to a certain level, supposed to empower this girl child, not necessarily financially, but by using their parameters of history to build their mindset.
Stakeholders say unless urgent action is taken to tackle poverty, insecurity, and cultural barriers, millions of girls in northern Nigeria may continue to lose access to education and the opportunities needed for a better future. Zahra Unazir, Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News after this weather forecasts plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello, thank you for staying with us on the weather forecast. An overnight system lingered over the northeast, bringing early morning rains in parts of the region. Parts of Yola and Jalingo recorded 49 and 41 millimeters of rainfall respectively. These rains are expected to keep temperatures relatively cool in this region. Now, looking ahead to Thursday, cloud cover is expected to increase as this weather system continues to influence conditions, with morning thunderstorms expected in parts of Kaduna, Adamawa, Taraba, as well as the north-central cities of Nasarawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Kwara, Niger, and the coastal belts of the country. By afternoon and evening hours, these storms will develop and intensify, extending to affect parts of Borno, Adamawa, Taraba, parts of Gombe, Bauchi, Kaduna, Kano, Kebbi, the north-central cities, down to the southern region of the country. The storms will likely be accompanied with strong gusty winds, so it's important to take necessary precaution. I am Theodora Itzum. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back from that break. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed the commitment of the President Bola Tinubu's administration in opening up satellite communities in Abuja through massive road infrastructure development. The FCT Minister made this known during an inspection of the ongoing project across Abuja. Kabir Hassan reports.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, expressed satisfaction with the pace of quality of work on several infrastructure projects slated for inauguration during the President Tinubu's third anniversary. Among the projects inspected were Body of Benches Annex Building, its access route to Tudunwada Road Project, linking Old Ushafa. Wike disclosed that the Body of Benches Annex Building has reached about 90% completion, with finishing touches ongoing ahead of inauguration.
Work at the Body of Benches office annex is 95% completed, furnished, just to tidy up things. We're happy with what we have seen.
The minister also commended contractors for delivering project within schedule and maintaining quality standard. Highlighting the administration development focus, Wike says infrastructure expansion is no longer limited to the city center but extended to satellite towns and rural communities.
My greatest happiness is that we have also started going to Zuba. In essence, the entire of those communities will be opened, and that is what development is all about, opening up the satellite areas as directed by Mr. President.
The minister maintained that expanding road project on underdeserved communities will improve access, connectivity, and development opportunities across Federal Capital Territory. Kabir Hassan, Global TV News.
Now to business news, where the Central Bank of Nigeria has retained the monetary policy rate at 26.5% following the 305th meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, as authorities maintain a cautious stance towards inflation and macroeconomic stability. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso says the committee also retained other key policy parameters, including the cash reserve ratio and the liquidity ratio, despite a recent rise in inflation figures recorded in March and April 2026. The Apex Bank says the decision is aimed at balancing inflation control, exchange rate stability, and broader economic recovery, while monitoring the impact of high borrowing costs on businesses and economic growth. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has described the Office of the Tax Ombudsman as a major institutional reform initiative of the President Bola Tinubu's administration aimed at promoting fairness, transparency, and accountability in Nigeria's tax system. The minister stated this during a courtesy visit by the leadership of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman to the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in Abuja. Sadia Yakubu reports.
Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris says the establishment of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman reflects the federal government's determination to strengthen trust between taxpayers and tax authorities through fairness, mediation, and accountability. The minister noted that the Tinubu administration's economic reforms, including the removal of fuel subsidy and foreign exchange reforms, are already producing measurable results and improving investor confidence in Nigeria's economy.
We are no longer a country that people felt that its economy is not so much aligned with international best practice. But today, that is history. For the first time also, Mr. Chairman and members of this delegation, the inflation that took hold, even at the time that these reforms were instituted, had been dramatically improved. Both headline inflation and food inflation are down below 15%.
Chief Executive Officer of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman, John Nwabweze, said the office was created to strengthen transparency and accountability within the nation's tax administration system. He explained that the agency is seeking collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation to deepen public awareness through radio, television, digital media, and grassroots campaigns. Nwabweze added that the mandate of the Office of the Tax Ombudsman aligns with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, especially in the areas of institutional reforms, economic governance, and improved service delivery.
The Office of the Tax Ombudsman reflects the President's ingenuity and foresight in pursuing institutional tax reforms for fairness, accountability, and efficiency. The establishment of this office under the new Nigerian Tax Administration Framework represents a significant milestone in strengthening transparency, accountability, fairness, and taxpayers' confidence.
Stakeholders say the collaboration is expected to boost public understanding of tax administration reforms and encourage greater compliance across the country. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
On the foreign scene, Italy's government says the Israeli treatment of activists taking part in the Gaza-bound global Sumud flotilla is unacceptable, stating that it will be summoning the Israeli ambassador for an explanation. A statement by Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani stated that the Italian government demands an apology for the treatment of the activist and the total disrespect for the Italian government's request. Now, according to flotilla organizers, 30 Italian citizens were on board and subsequently abducted by Israel, with Italy's foreign ministry saying they included a member of a parliament and a journalist. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov says Moscow is ready to extend a helping hand to negotiations between Iran and the United States if necessary, but does not intend to impose its services, saying Russia is ready to provide all possible assistance in resolving the conflict, which is well known to both parties. He said Russia welcomes attempts by Washington and Tehran to resume the negotiation process and noted the active role of the Pakistani side in stabilizing the situation and creating conditions for moving towards a lasting peace. And now to sport, where Super Eagles head coach Eric Chile has released a separate squad for Nigeria's upcoming Unity Cup tournament in London and international friendly matches against Poland and Portugal scheduled for June. And the coach retained experienced players including Wilfred Ndidi, Moses Simon and Terem Murphy for the Unity Cup, while also handing invitation to new players and several Nigerian Premier Football League stars. Nigeria will face Zimbabwe in the semi-final of the Unity Cup in London on May 26 before taking on Poland in Warsaw and Portugal in Lera as preparations continue for the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. The Comptroller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, is receiving commendation for his continued contribution to sport development despite demands of public office. Adeniyi has remained actively involved in supporting several sporting disciplines, including wrestling, basketball, volleyball, and handball, while also creating opportunities for young athletes across the country. And beyond his role in customs administration, Adeniyi currently serves as president of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, where his leadership has been credited with improving the profile of Nigerian wrestling on the continental stage. Under his watch, Nigerian wrestlers recently delivered an impressive performance at the African Wrestling Championship in Egypt, winning multiple gold medals and emerging overall champions. That's it on News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now displayed on your screen by using our Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.